And we're back, YouTube. So this is test loop number 2 for the headquarters drive. And starting right where we left off from the last one, I'm just going to pull out away from the curb because it's not letting me engage until I get away from the curb. And I will do that. And now I'll try it again. There we go. And we'll see if we can replicate that really amazing drive. Again, pretty much ideal conditions. Beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky here. 70 degrees. Pretty much why we live and pay the high prices here in California. And, you know, very little traffic on these roads. Now, during the week, I've come around here and done this test loop and got it set up and so forth. And obviously a lot more commuter traffic and pedestrian traffic and all sorts of stuff going on, especially the Tesla headquarters there in Palo Alto. The old official headquarters was can be quite busy, you know, during the week, obviously. Now, I'd like to see one, again, as this drive was so perfect last time, a little nitpicky, I'd like to see it be in the right-hand lane there instead of the left-hand lane. As a human driver, you know, we're going to be getting on the freeway about a half a mile down the road. So if there were a bunch of other cars that were coming up and getting in that right lane, there's no reason for us not to be in that right lane so that we're just prepared for our turn. So we'll see if that changes in 11.4. I'll try to keep track of, you know, what we see on these routes and how it changes with new builds and stuff. But, you know, getting up to speed really nicely, you know, really natural acceleration, probably much faster than most cars, obviously, because we're in a Tesla compared to most cars with, you know, acceleration. So really good getting up to speed, going a little bit below the speed limit here, a little bit below the max, I think just because of the curvature of the road and the steepness here. I'll always have the offset at the speed limit, so we can just see that as the default, and then if I need to adjust the speed limit, we'll do that on the fly. Getting on the freeway here, really good. I like that it says 50 for the speed limit already. Well, that was the speed limit we were on, but now it's changing the speed limit max to 40 because of the curvature changing there. And then I think right about here it changes to 65. So it changes it to 65 because we're kind of going off of the on-ramp and getting ready to get on the freeway. So really good, you know, speed limit change there to 65. And getting up to speed. And a really great freeway drive. And definitely would like your feedback as well in if you'd like to see sections like this sped up, or if you'd prefer to just be able to do that on your own with, you know, 2 times on YouTube. So yeah, just let me know what you'd prefer. You know, I've watched a lot of FSD creators as well, obviously Chuck Cook and others, whole Mars catalog. You know, sometimes I appreciate where there's just these really boring stretches and it just gets sped up because the car's just staying in the lane, going the speed limit, and nothing's really happening. It's funny because Elon mentioned, I think it was at Investor Day or maybe it was one of the recent interviews that he's done, that you can kind of tell the difference between, you know, a car that's driving on FSD or AI versus one that's not. And actually that kind of just resonated with me. Why it came up in my mind is I'm watching these cars, they're kind of like, you know, going back and forth in the lane, a little bit close to the left lane, a little bit close to the right lane, a little bit back to the left, back to the right, and we're just sitting here dead center, consistent speed, very reliable. And you know, if I was sitting in a RoboTaxi in the back seat and having this experience, extremely smooth drive, you know, it would be ideal. So we've got a slow-moving truck on the right. We've got just over a half of a mile until our exit. So I think it'll have enough time. I was gonna say I think it'll have enough time to go around the slow-moving truck, but it decided to get over to the right and get behind it. So, you know, not what I would have done as a human. I could see that it was moving extremely slowly. We only have 0.3 miles, so there's a white Tesla ahead of us that got up and got around this car. Maybe they're taking that next sandhill exit. But we're just poking along now here at 35 miles an hour. So, you know, nothing wrong with this, but as a human driver, I would have never chosen to sit here on the freeway going 35. Definitely not a great speed for this freeway. People go 70 or 80. And, you know, it's just because we have this utility truck ahead of us that's going 35 and we needed to get off on this exit. So, okay, now we're speeding up. I'm going to go to the next direction here. I didn't want to mess with it as we were behind that truck, but now we've got our new destination in to take us back towards the headquarters. Got that in with enough time. There's a little warning that flashed up there. Not quite sure what that was. It might have been lane departure or something. Okay, so now we're here at this scenario again with cars getting on. Now this time we kind of went a lot faster. We went past the Mercedes and are merging. So that was better than it was last time. We kind of went faster. That car, you know, there was a gap there in between the two of them. We could have chosen to get over behind the Mercedes, but it was, you know, it was just getting on the freeway. It was going slow. So that was kind of a judgment call, and I think it did it really well there. Accelerating up and then getting over in between, you know, the truck that was getting on, the pickup truck, and then that Mercedes. Slowing a little bit down here for the curvature of the road, probably appropriate to be able to see for pedestrians if there were any, because there is, you know, there could be pedestrian traffic here. We'll see how we do getting on the freeway here. There's a Prius that got in behind us, so we'll see how we accelerate up. We've got a slow-moving lead car, so that might just be, you know, kind of dictating. But again, we're right here in the middle of the lane. I think a lot of humans, like this human ahead of us, is way over to the right on the other side of the white line, but we just predictably right in the middle of the lane. There's cars coming to get off the freeway here, so we're gonna have to merge in with them. Model S getting in front of us there. As I said, this really slow moving car here. So we did that fine. I mean, negotiated that fine. The Model S came up and was going pretty fast and went around us. We've got this slow moving kind of drifting car ahead of us, but we'll see, you know, how we get up on the freeway here. Now I'd like to see it, you know, have the first opportunity go around this car. So we'll see what it does. You know, there's a pickup truck in the lane here. It just got over one lane to a faster lane. And so after this truck goes by, I would love to see the car just aggressively get over and get up to speed. And that's what we did. You know, we got up perfect. You couldn't do that any better. Maintaining distance with the pickup truck at the first available safe moment, really. Once the truck had cleared us, we got over, sped up, and got around the slow-moving vehicle. So, really, really good. And we're just set at the speed limit, 65. We're going 64, so pretty much good right here. This would be a good loop to bring some new people that have never been on FSD before, because it's probably not quite of a, you know, nervousness. It's a much gentler drive. It's got the freeway, it's got merging, and it's got, you know, a little bit of the, you know, simple, what I would call simple city streets where there's not, you know, a lot of places, there's no downtown, there's not a lot of pedestrian traffic. But I'll try to bring some passengers up here and get their reactions for first time riding in a self-driving car, and I think it would be a good experience. I mean, this is the kind of experience that I think if more and more people had, they'd start to say, wow, you know, full self-driving is here. It's just a matter of time before, you know, it gets more smooth, it handles more edge cases. But definitely this, compared to my previous experiences last year and the year before with 10.69 and 10.5 and you know, other builds that, you know, we had over time, really confident. My wife really likes the the blue, you know, indicator line, telling us where the car is going, and then the messages, you know, now telling us what the car is doing. I think those type of things as well just really give confidence to people that they can at least understand when a car makes a decision, why it's doing that decision. Even if they may have done a different decision as a human or whatever, they can at least understand it, and I think it just increases the confidence level quite a bit. So again, getting off really good. We got a really pretty red Model S behind us getting off. We'll see if they pass us. Now this is, you know, if you watch the previous video, there's one area consistently here that, or, you know, two things I would say consistently on this drive that I'd like to see it do better. And it'd be interesting. I'll have to drive after, you know, one of these videos, come and look what the speed limit is, because you don't see a speed limit sign here, but you're going to get off the freeway. We're going to turn onto a road where cars go really, really quickly. And there's the exit speed limit of 35. So it might be picking up 35 there. It still says 65 here. You know, it says 30 for this little, you know, bend here. We're going 40, high 30s. I think really consistent for the speed. Nothing too aggressive, just a bit over the speed limit. And now it says 35 as the speed. Now the challenge is on this road, it's a four-way stop, so it's a pretty simple, and let's see what it does here. So now we should go. It's our turn. We should go. And we are moving through. We're just negotiating with this white Prius, just making sure it was turning. Now this is where it becomes a challenge, because we're going 35. And this is a 50-mile-an-hour road up here. I'm not sure if I went back further and looked at the previous, you know, speed limit sign, what it would say. I don't think it says 35, but I could go back and double check. Braking there, it saw something. It thought maybe if you saw there, it might have thought it was a light, a traffic signal. But we're going 35, and you can see like all the other cars are going to be going a lot faster than us. Now it starts going to 50 because it sees the 50 speed limit sign, which is great. And you know, we're in the left-hand lane, so it's a left-hand to right-hand merge with a white solid line previous. So the challenge here is all the other cars on this road are going like 50 plus miles an hour. And then we're in the left-hand lane, we need to merge to the right, and we're just going 35. So either there's cars behind us, like in the last video where the driver behind us was kind of upset that we weren't going faster. But even if there wasn't a car behind us, if there's a lot of traffic and it's going 50, I'd like to see the cars kind of recognize that there's all these cars passing us on the right, and that we're going to get over to the right, and that it should get up to the speed to be in the flow of traffic with the other cars. Now, obviously, I could handle that by increasing the speed manually. And then this is the second area where it has trouble. Did you see there? It took a long time to get over to the right. If there was a really aggressive driver behind us, that's really going to frustrate them, and they might jump in around us. So definitely looking to see if in 11.4, if that improves. That lane selection. I'd definitely like to see it get over into that lane much faster. Wow, just another great drive. I would say 2 perfect drives in a row. This one even better than the last one, and the last one was what I would say, you know, any human passenger would be completely comfortable with and would feel that they could get into a RoboTaxi and have been in the back seat, you know, watching a video or doing whatever they need to do and not spending time in driving. So if you haven't paid attention, or if this is one of the first videos you're watching, probably not if you're watching an FSD video on YouTube, but if this is the first time by chance you're looking at FSD videos, you can really see that we're not that far away from this being a possibility. Again, this is a really simple scenario in that there's not very many cars on the road. It's just like a Saturday afternoon, beautiful day in California. not a lot of pedestrians. But I think one thing, when you listen to Elon's language and when he talks about readiness of FSD, and obviously he's said this many times with previous due dates for us to be here, but I think if you've been listening closely to his comments of late, he'll always say that, or he'll often say, I should say, that he's having zero safety interventions. And I think that's the key word to really think about, because really what it comes down to is, and what Elon will say is, you know, at the moment that FSD is a better driver than the average human, and we could save lives and improve society through an autonomous vehicle, we have the moral obligation to do so. And I think it really comes down to that word of safety interventions. Because, yeah, there could be convenience interventions. There could be where you're like, it's kind of doing something different than a human. But that's all subjective as well. That's all subjective of what's your driving style, how aggressive or passive, you know, what your comfort zone is in giving control to other people or to devices. All of those things factor in. But the moment that it statistically shows that there's less safety intervention, you know, less safety incidents, I should say, with FSD, accidents, you know, injuries, deaths, obviously, those type of things, then if we're standing in the way of enabling this, then we're causing more harm than good. That would be my perspective and what I've gleaned from recent comments from Elon. So here we are, back at our starting point, headquarters for Palo Alto over here on the left. I'm just going to take control and pull over to the curb. I'd love to see that included in a future version of FSD beta, where it will pull to the curb when you get towards your destination or find a parking spot and park. But if you're liking these videos, please give it a like, give comments, what you'd like to see, what you like or don't like, and subscribe and look at the playlist. I appreciate all of you, and we'll see you in the next video.